What's going on? My name is Amy. I am a beginner 6-month trader, and today I'm sharing what it was like trading for one day, like Ross Cameron, okay, big name YouTuber, very quick scalp momentum day trader, very good at what he does. And I decided that my last video I talked about wanting to execute 20 trades like Ross trades as best as I can. There's some parameters and things I've had to adapt and change because he is performing at a different level than me, and just knowing where I'm at, in my trading journey, it's like, okay, set the rules as best as you can, but everything's not going to be exact into the specificness of the way he trades, as close as I can. So today was day one. This is Monday, and we're starting a new month. We're in May now. So I thought, let's just try this out. So a little bit of backstory. Last couple of months, I've been trading. I think I'm gone 3 for 5 as far as profitability. Last month I actually was negative because I was trying a lot of different things. And this month, the goal is just, hey, let's get back to basics. What was working in the beginning was actually trading somewhat like Ross. And I'm kind of, listening to different people and whatnot. And I've said, let's just start, back to where we were. Let's trade like him for a bit, and let's adapt and really hone in on these strategies. So I took 3 trades today. It's a small red day, but really I just wanted to break the pattern of trading without really a plan. Like, I'd been doing these 20 trade series, and I'd set different stops, different take profit levels, testing out different things, trying to keep things systematic. And today actually felt like it was more fun. I did have rules and things in place, but it was a little bit of like going on the fly, because I started actually looking at the charts in the pre-market. So this is the way Ross really trades, is he starts trading at, I think it's like, I'm on Pacific Coast, so I think it's, for me, 4 a.m. It's like 7 a.m. for him. And he trades those first like 3 hours, 4 a.m. for me to like 7 a.m. And then he's like kind of done after that last half hour of the opening. So I did not do the best about marking the times I got in my trades today. But I will say that I was at my desk at 6:05 a.m. So like this would have been 9:05, before the open, looking and scanning and using Zendoo, Zendoo channel on YouTube to help me find stocks that met the criteria of the way Ross trades. So float under 20 million, price between $2 and $20. The volume, I had a little bit of challenge trying to figure out the volume because the numbers in pre-market are kind of delayed sometimes. So I'm not sure that the scanner was totally accurate on that. So I kind of just looked at the other criteria as best I could. I did stay away from some stuff where I would pull up a 1-minute chart and it looked like sporadic and choppy, even though it was a top gainer. That was the other thing, looking for 10% or more gains on the day. And if it looked sporadic, like volume was really light, I just stayed away from it. So I looked at a bunch of stuff. I looked at kids, I looked at PLRZ, and a bunch of other things that were popping up on the scanner. And for like the first half hour, I was like, there's nothing really meeting the criteria. I also knew coming in to the market that late in pre-market, I wasn't going to catch the same kind of trades that Ross really catches. I'm going to be adjusting the time I actually sit down and look at the charts, because I do want to get closer and closer to his time frame. It's just, I'm an early person. Like, I get up early on the regular, but because I'm Pacific and I'm so far behind on the time zone, it's a little bit of like, okay, let's adapt and like, let's, shift my schedule as best as I can. Instead of waking up at like 5 a.m., I'm start waking up more like closer to 3:30 a.m. so that I can really be on my game here. So it's going to take a little adjustment. But the first thing I started kind of making note about was PLRZ. It was forming a bunch of dojis and topping tails as it was up on its rise and sort of consolidating in what I recognized as a bull flag pattern. However, after watching some of Ross's videos yesterday, I watched some of his candlestick chart patterns and things like that over the weekend, and just really, tried to absorb what I could about learning to trade like the way he trades, and also just learning general things about studying the candlesticks. And that kept me away from this trade, thank goodness, because right after I saw this consolidation, and I saw these topping tails and the dojis, and I was like, nah, no, these are warning signs. And next thing you know, there was a huge engulfing red candle to the downside. So I was like, okay, avoided that trap, awesome. So the first trade I ended up taking was Pony, Pony, Pony AI, and it met all the criteria and whatnot. Everything looked like it was setting up for, kind of the bull flag, kind of the consolidation that I was looking for. And I'm going to show you guys on TradingView. I got in at 1141, which of course, hindsight is 2020. Looking back again, typical pattern of my last several trades is getting in too high. And I'm getting in like, this is a 1 minute chart, and this is around 10 a.m., 10:10, something like that. I'm getting in kind of like on this, sorry for the glare here, guys, this like green candle here, waiting for it to make a new high, which is exactly what happened. But of course, you're trying to jump in the market as it's moving very quickly. You get filled when you get filled. And that was something else I had to adjust. Was typically I'd been setting up bracket orders in Thinkorswim. I would set up my buy order, my take profit, and my stop loss. Trading like this, I realized how ineffective those kinds of orders would be, because the trading goes so fast that if I'm sitting there trying to figure out for each stock I'm looking at, like what should be a level here, what should be a level there, I was going to miss the move. And when I actually tried to go into Thinkorswim and set stop losses at a technical level, like say I wanted to make sure my stop hit at $5 even or something, I don't know what I was doing wrong in the stop box, but it kept changing along with the market movement. And I'm like, stop it. There was no lock button for the stop. There's like a chain link, and there's something that looks like a TV screen. And, it's trying to figure that part out. I knew that it kind of linked the orders together, I think, with the chain link. But there was an option on the other side of the price movement of a plus and minus, where you can put like cents or dollars. And then there's like this thing that looks like stairs, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And then there was a percentage, and I'm like, I don't want to play with percentages because I just need something fixed. And it was too complicated. I'm like, this is not something I should be trying to figure out while I'm looking to trade. So I said, ixnay on the stops, right? I was like, no stops, no take profits. I'm just going to use the buttons. Like literally there's big buttons on Thinkorswim where you can add buy market, buy bid, sell bid, buy ask, sell ask. So I was like, let's just really try to trade like Ross. And knowing that I was only going to buy like 5 shares of anything I was going to trade, I wasn't, super worried about not having an actual stop or, whatever. So anyways, I got in at the high, long story short, and I watched where the 9 EMA was. So if you guys look on the chart here, I don't know if you can see this blue line. I'm really trying to show this without the glare. There's a blue line there. So once it dipped below the 9 EMA, and I kind of had like my mental stop of, what was it, 1150, no, sorry. So I ended up I got out at 1122. So I'm trying to see what my stop actually I was looking at. Yeah, as soon as it was just kind of flushing, I was like, this just doesn't look good. And as you can see, it did go below the 9 EMA, like over here. So that's kind of where I was like, all right, time to get out, right? And it just, it was too far away from my entry at that point. So it was, I got in at 1141, out at 1122. So it wasn't even a 20-cent stop, but to me that was plenty to give it time. And I think actually in that first order I did have a stop, and I just kicked myself out because I was watching the chart. I wasn't really watching the profit or anything. And that one I took a loss of 92 cents, because I only bought 5 shares. And I put that it hit a new high. Like that was my reason, following what Ross teaches, you're jumping in when that next candle in the consolidation is hitting a new high. But as soon as it did, it starts turning downwards on the MACD. So over here, I'm looking at my Robinhood chart for Pony, and it's like, oh yeah, there goes the lines, right? And I think this one I preemptively sold before the signal line actually crossed the MACD. So I was like, oh, this is just not going correctly in my direction. So left it alone. It did go down. And then I'm watching it again and it goes back up. So it had like 3 red candles and then it kind of comes back up, and you'll see on here like this kind of a doji, right? Green doji. I get in again and I got in at 11:44. So it actually did kind of go up a little bit back to over my entry. Same old story here. We're going to figure this out, guys. And then it went green immediately. And I was like watching the chart and I just said, I just kind of heard a voice like, just take whatever green you got and get out. So I did. I only made 10 cents, but it recouped a little bit of what I lost on the first trade. So, between those 2 trades, I was down 82 cents. And I was like, okay, cool. Cause then it completely went down after that. Like I took this tiny little scalp move, which clearly was not close to even, fixing what I messed up on the first trade, but that's okay. And then I said, okay, we're done with Pony. Like, let's keep looking around. And I was looking at ZCAR again. So good old ZCAR, if you watch Day Trade Gone Wrong, you know what happened there. And the funny thing was almost the same kind of issue happens as I try to get in that trade. It's like shooting up and I'm like, okay, like I'm waiting for the pullback. I'm looking for, the signs to be there. And I had bought at the bid, I think it was buy ask. I hit the buy ask button and it doesn't get filled. It keeps going up. I don't hear the system notification in Thinkorswim and I'm like, cancel. So I go into the monitor tab, immediately cancel the working order, clear the deck, and that sucker made a really nice move. And I was like, dang it, So the next time I actually tried to get into the trade, I was like, I'm going to just buy at the market. Because if I buy at even the ask, which you would think would get your order filled, if it's moving too fast, it just completely bypassed me. So I was like, all right, well, I don't want to get filled at some horrible price, right? So I said, we'll probably get a little bit of slippage buying the market, but it's better than missing the trade altogether. So the next time I try to get in, of course, this is the story here. I'm getting in at a high again. Let's see, where is the time? Yeah, I was not good about putting in my entry times today because I was just like trying to keep it together mentally. This is like trading almost like new. I don't know what to say. It's like, you're changing your trading habits. I'm used to looking at the large cap stocks, the big names. All of a sudden I'm looking at these things that are just moving quick, low float, things like that. And it's just a little different. So, okay, where are we here? 7:30. This must have been close to, what did I say? My last couple were, yeah, I don't think I traded past 10 a.m., but let me double check. So this is 7, we went up. It's like some of these I got in on this ZCAR on a topping tail here somewhere. Maybe it was after an hour. I don't know. I kind of just totally lost track of the time and was not marking my times. And for some reason, sorry guys, Trading View is acting weird. I'm going to try to close it and open it again. ZCAR was it was freaking like, on, what was it, Thursday or whatever, it was like $8 zone, and here it was jumping to like $11, $12. So I was like, okay, let's give it a whirl. Really just trying to find where, okay, I don't know. I'm touching the chart and it's not really showing where I'm at. Okay, so I got it at 12.23. Again, kind of a high here. Going back. Nope. Gosh, I should probably at some point upgrade to the non-ads version of TradingView. Always closing the stupid ads. So, okay, I think I'm in here somewhere over here as this thing is on its meteoric rise. And I get in at 12:23 and then it just turns on its head, you know? And the funny thing was I was in profit like $1.30 and the thought crossed my mind because as soon as I got in the trade, it was like, I'm green. The thought crossed my mind to immediately sell and sell at the, I think I was going to sell at the bid. And I just waited, you know, like 2 seconds because I was like, well, maybe I'm being too impatient, you know? And what ends up happening, it goes to a loss. Darn it, right? So I kick myself for that because I kind of think, okay, anytime you have that like voice in your head, you know, you should just listen to it. So I'm in over here somewhere, and then, you know, you've got flushing candle there. And I think at that point, yeah, it went down to like 11:22 from my entry, or sorry, 11:58 from my entry of 12:23. And the reason I got out at that weird price was I probably should have waited for 11:50, and I think I did, but by the time I hit sell, it was coming back up a little. I had a mental stop of like, you know, I was trying to pick even numbers where that was also a technical level, you know, because a lot of times on these lower price stocks, the even number is the technical level, 11:50, 12, 12:25, whatever it might be. And initially my stop mentally was 11.75 because I said, you know, okay, that's about 50 cents away from where I entered. And then the 90 MA moved down a little bit and I was like, oh, I'll give it just a little bit of room. That was kind of where I went wrong. That's too far away from where I got in. And clearly I can see from, you know, today's trades, the last trades update I did with the day trade gone wrong, and many of my videos on this channel recapping my trades, is I have been getting in at the wrong time, the high of the day or too close to a high, or just an entry where you have to be so fast to execute that sell that otherwise you're going to miss any gains. Like the scalp thing is going to happen very, very quickly, or you're going to immediately go red because next thing you know, you got the people right behind you looking to bail. And yeah, so I'm realizing this, and corrections, improvements going forward, I am like, okay. Oh, and by the way, the loss on that was $3.22. Nothing crazy. Total P&L loss today, $4.05. Not too bad. But going forward, improvement wise, I realize, okay, again, if I'm trading like Ross Cameron, I got to come to the market sooner because the news is coming out, you know, breaking news is coming out at, 8 a.m. Eastern. So it's like 5 a.m. my time. So I got to be like sitting at the desk like 4:30, you know, basically my time zone, and waiting for that half hour or so for the news and just sort of like, you know, seeing what's out there. And then being ready, being present for the big moves, because even though some of them can happen just before the open or after the open, a lot of them have already expired. And you've got more traders in the market that are aware now, like, oh, these stocks are moving. And you have people that were in the stock from pre-market looking to take their gains, right? Because they've already been in it and they were in it at a much lower price. So all those factors being said, I'm like, okay, correction number one, got to trade earlier, got to trade in the pre-market. In the video where I talked about trading like Ross Cameron, I mentioned that it was a little bit of a challenge for me to accept that I can't use a stop loss because I had just been training myself last few months on using a stop loss. And trading today using buttons on Thinkorswim, you know, just click buttons, and I don't have the hotkeys set up because I just haven't gotten that far ahead with the way my brain is up to speed. So I'm like, let's not give my brain too many things to think about, but having the mouse like literally hovering over these buttons, getting ready to click it, help me to execute a little faster. Now I do have the confirmation window still popping up. So what that means is when I click buy market, for example, it's going to prompt a window and say, are you sure? And right now I'm leaving it that way until I just feel a little bit more comfortable about, okay, send it immediately. Because there is a feature, you can check box this auto send on Thinkorswim and it'll, you know, you hit buy market, it's gonna buy right then, right? Sell bid, Sell right then. No confirmation. Now, in the past, I have accidentally hit buttons in that area, and that's why I turned it off, because I was like, oh crap, I'm in a trade. I didn't mean to hit that button. So yeah, maybe I try tomorrow and just, see how it goes, having it immediately go through. But I did better than I thought not having the stop loss. I would pick the level on the chart, that made sense, looking at a consolidation or something, and looking for, okay, if it gets down to the low of this candle, whatever, this is my exit. And like I said earlier, it's a lot of times it's based on a even number, 50 cent, 20 or 25 is not even, but a number that psychologically people might be looking to exit. And also considering that if a lot of people are looking to exit there, then market makers might also be looking to sweep right there. So maybe just a few cents below. So for example, if I'm in at 1165 and my mental stop's 1150, in reality, I'm probably going to wait till about 1145 just to make sure I'm not getting stopped out, because everybody's putting their stops in the same place, right? So anyways, guys, it is a learning process. But you know what? I think I said this earlier too. Today was more fun. Today was more fun to trade like this because I'm looking at the scanners. There's like all kinds of action going on. Things felt fast and moving quickly. This morning was a little bit, when I first sat down, was a little bit like, wow, there's nothing here yet. But I knew that stuff would come, and I was glad I was patient, took my time. But yeah, it felt different trading like this versus trading the large caps and the ETFs I've been trading for a while. And I like the momentum. I really do. Even though it's a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes and you have no idea what's going to happen in the next half a second, it's just more fun, and that's why I got into trading in the first place, was like I was looking for something that was fun to do and could make me a lot of money. And right now, the money thing, I'm just like not worried about that at all. I've got my risk management. I know what I'm risking. Today's max daily loss amount was $7, was my max daily loss mental stop of $7, and I was at loss of $4. So kept my wrist tight, knew that after 3 trades, I was pretty much done, also because the market was pretty much done, like for what I'm trading right now. So yeah, that's how it went, one day trading like Ross Cameron. Like I said, I've got some things to tweak to make it more like the way he trades. And I am fully aware that, that guy is trading with huge amounts of capital, has many, many years under his belt, is kind of just, in this place where, I don't want to say anything negative, but it's like when people are that good, it seems like they're so far away from where you are as a beginner that you almost think, why bother even trying to trade like that? But he has said many times that his trading strategy has not changed in the decade plus that he's been trading like that. So I was seeing some of his older videos where he was happy to make like $1,000, $2,000 in a day. Now you hear, it's like videos of making 50 grand in a day or whatever. And it's like he was still trading the same way, right? So I don't think that the capital per se is any kind of barrier. I think really it's just about finding a strategy that, number one, you like to trade. I think this is so overlooked. I think so many people are following other people because they see them making money and they're like, I'm going to do it too, and I'm going to trade just like them. And they hate the way they trade. It's stressful. It's frustrating. It's, or maybe it's too slow. Like if you follow certain people that wait for these 4-hour movements, for me, I'm like, I got stuff to do. And I also don't want to have to worry about closing the trade out later in the day. I want to just sit down, do my trading time, close everything out, and walk away and go do the rest of the stuff I got to do that day and go enjoy my life, And so I realized what I liked and what was enjoyable for me. And I encourage you, if you're new, or heck, even if you've been in this for a while, ask yourself, number one question, do I like the way I trade right now? Is this aligned with my personality, my style? And kind of in that same question, ask yourself, am I having fun? Okay, because some people just take this so seriously. Like, I've been guilty of this too in the past, where I'm like, I gotta be really serious and this is serious stuff. Yes, this is some people's livelihoods and full-time incomes, which is awesome. I expect to be there one day as well. But I'm not in this because I wanted a job. I'm not in this because I had to be in it. I'm in this and I get to do this, right? Like it's a totally different mindset shift when you think like that. If you put all this stress on yourself and you're not having any fun, why the heck are you doing this, right? Like go find some other job that's like way less stressful. But for me, I like the energy, I like the momentum, I like the high action, you know. I ride motorcycles. Like I like to do things that go fast, right? So it's fun, you know. I freaking have a 200 horsepower sport bike and I like to day trade. Now, granted, that doesn't always mean day trading is like fun and fast and, you know, craziness going on. There can be some slow days for sure, but I think it just aligns with who I am. So ask yourself those questions. And number two, I just want to point this out before I let you go. Be grateful that you can do this. Like there's some people in the parts of the world that don't have internet access, certainly don't have high speed, don't have any funds to trade with, don't have any knowledge of the markets whatsoever, just no access, no capabilities. Maybe their job is just so restrictive they can't even take 2 seconds away and look at the charts. Like, but if you get to do this, think about that. Like, just be grateful, right? And if you want to know, you know, resources and things I've learned to get this far in 6 months, and I'm still here and blow up any accounts, thank you, Lord. Check out my day trading resources down below. It's just a free Google Doc where I put in videos, books, what else is in there? Like links to YouTubers that I followed and people like mindset, you know, technical stuff, things like that. Right now I'm doing my 20 trades experiment, like trading like Ross, but you know, a bunch of people are out there to listen to. That's another thing too. Find who you align with as a personality. Some people I can see, like when I say I trade like Ross Cameron right now, is like a trigger, like, oh, that guy, you know. What a guru. and yeah, I mean, he's a guru, but he's got the chops to back it up, right? And I personally, I'm not, you know, any kind of guru by any means, and I'm not pretending to be, okay? But I'm just sharing my journey. I'm just sharing and documenting what I'm doing, and I hope that it helps somebody else along the way, if only to, you know, be supportive. Like, you know, we both lost today, woohoo, you know, whatever it might be. And even just changing the language around that. Like, it's not a loss. Today is a learning lesson. Every loss is now called officially here on out learning lesson. So if you hear me come on and say today was a learning lesson, then you know what I'm talking about. And even just saying like the winning days is like, yeah, today was cool. Today was a cool day. Like whatever, you know, it's changing the words. So anyways, guys, yeah, feel free to check out my day trading resources down in the comments and the description down below. See you on the next one. Thanks for all the comments and likes, guys. Appreciate you. Take care.